Have you ever wondered why a Formula One car is so safe, even when traveling at speeds that defy the limits of possibility? You might think it's all about luck or advanced technology, but the truth is much deeper and more intriguing. Imagine being inside a rocket on fire, trapped in a tiny space where every second counts for survival. Now, visualize a simple red cable, a timed exercise, a fire suppression system, and a strict protocol that could be the fine line between life and death. These elements are not just pieces of a puzzle. They are meticulously planned strategies that make Formula One one of the most exciting and safest sports in the world. But what if I told you that the same principles applied to the safety of a Formula One car could be applied to your everyday life? Whether you're a gearhead, a car enthusiast, or just someone curious about how these champions of the asphalt ensure their safety, this video is for you. Get ready to dive deep into the backstage of Formula One and discover secrets that few know, and that could change the way you see safety, speed, and strategy. The red cable's importance. When it comes to safety in Formula One, one detail often overlooked by non-gearheads is the famous red cable. This small component, which might seem insignificant at first glance, is actually a silent hero. When pulled, the red cable cuts the car's electrical circuit, preventing sparks that could start a fire. Moreover, it automatically activates the fire suppression system, protecting both the driver and the track marshals. Imagine the adrenaline of a driver who needs to deal with an emergency in fractions of a second. The red cable is there to provide an extra layer of safety. Now, you might think, why so much importance for a simple cable? Well, in Formula One, where every millisecond counts, the difference between an incident and a tragedy can be the response time to an emergency. Let's imagine you're driving your normal car and an emergency happens. Having an action plan is crucial. For Formula One drivers, knowing where the red cable is and how to use it is a fundamental part of that plan. It's like knowing where the fire extinguisher is in your kitchen. No one thinks much about it until they need it. And here's the kicker. The red cable not only saves lives, it is a constant reminder of human fragility and the need to always be prepared. The next time you hear someone talking about safety in Formula One, remember this little detail, the red cable that silently can make all the difference. And speaking of preparation, this leads us to the next vital safety point, emergency protocols. Emergency protocols in F1. Emergency protocols in Formula One are true survival choreographies. Think about it. In a sport where speeds exceed 300 km per h, every second counts. The drivers, those we call the ultimate gearheads, must be able to exit the cockpit in less than 7 seconds and replace the steering wheel in up to 12 seconds. Why is that? In the event of an accident or fire, a quick response can be the fine line between getting out unharmed or being trapped in a dangerous situation. Imagine yourself in a similar situation in your daily life. Having an evacuation plan at home, knowing where the emergency exits are in a building, or how to quickly turn off the gas are actions that can be decisive. Just as an F1 driver needs to master these protocols, you too can prepare for emergencies in your day-to-day life. Small practices, like doing an emergency drill, can save your life and the lives of your loved ones. These strict procedures show how seriously Formula One takes safety. It's proof that even in a maximum adrenaline environment, discipline and training are key. And while we're talking about practice, this takes us to the next topic, the cockpit exit exercise, a practical simulation that every driver must master. Cockpit exit exercise. In Formula One, training isn't just about reaching pole position. It also involves practicing how to quickly escape from dangerous situations. One of the FIA's requirements, the International Automobile Federation, is the cockpit exit exercise. This training, conducted by all drivers, simulates an emergency exit from the car under race conditions. It's a rigorous practice that ensures that in a real emergency situation, the driver doesn't get lost in the midst of chaos. After all, every second is crucial for a gearhead who needs to get out of the car as quickly as possible. Now think about your daily life. Do you have an emergency action plan? It could be as simple as practicing with your family what to do in case of a fire or learning basic first aid. What Formula One teaches us here is the value of advanced preparation, not waiting for disaster to strike to figure out how to react. Preparation is a form of protection, and this can be applied in various situations, from business to personal safety. These emergency simulations also highlight the high-performance mindset that characterizes Formula One. Drivers train their bodies and minds to react under extreme pressure. And speaking of pressure, let's now explore the mechanics of the car's fire suppression system, one of the first lines of defense in case of fire. Fire extinguisher mechanics. The fire suppression system in a Formula One car is a marvel of engineering and a true lifesaver. Integrated directly into the car's chassis, it is designed to be triggered in two ways: automatically when it detects a sudden increase in temperature or manually by the driver or track marshals. Imagine the psychological comfort this brings to the drivers, knowing that in case of fire, there is a system ready to act in milliseconds. It is a safety net that, although invisible, is essential for any gearhead who values safety. This concept can be compared to the use of smoke detectors and sprinkler systems in commercial and residential buildings. Think about how these technologies, which many of us take for granted, work silently to protect our lives every day. Installing a good safety system at home or work is like having the fire suppression system of a Formula One car. You hope never to need it, but when you do, it must work perfectly. What makes this system so effective is the balance between advanced technology and ease of use. It is designed to cover both the cockpit and external areas, ensuring that not only the driver, but also the track marshals are protected. Now, with the fire under control, the next step involves careful practice. The protocol for repositioning the steering wheel after an emergency. Steering wheel protocols. The steering wheel of a Formula One car is much more than a simple steering device. It is a command center. After an accident, one of the most important safety protocols is the immediate replacement of the steering wheel. But why is this so crucial? Firstly, without the steering wheel, the car becomes much more difficult to handle for the track marshals who need to remove it quickly. Secondly, the steering wheel is a valuable and high-tech piece that cannot be left carelessly. A true gearhead understands that taking care of the equipment is as vital as the race itself. This attention to detail can be compared to keeping your personal car in perfect working order. Imagine if every time you had to get out of a vehicle, you had to replace the steering wheel to make it easier to transport. Of course, this is extreme, but the principle is the same. Taking care of the details ensures optimized performance and safety. Even in small gestures, Formula One teaches us the value of discipline and meticulous care. Additionally, repositioning the steering wheel after an accident serves as a preventive measure against theft or loss of expensive equipment. It is a practice that connects directly to the idea of responsibility and attention to detail. Speaking of responsibility, let's now explore a historical aspect of Formula One that dates back to its long-standing commitment to driver safety. Historical context. Since 1971, Formula One has had a clear rule: drivers must be able to exit their cockpits quickly in an emergency. This requirement did not arise by chance. It was a direct response to the fatal accidents that marked previous decades, where the time it took for drivers to exit was often the difference between life and death. A true gearhead knows that the history of Formula One is filled with lessons learned through tragedies, leading to significant improvements in safety. Let's make a simple comparison. Think about changes in safety standards on airplanes or buildings after major incidents. Each new regulation is a direct response to past events, and the same applies to Formula One. The ability to quickly exit the car is actually a way to honor the past by ensuring that mistakes are not repeated. It is a continuous reminder that in the race of life, every second counts, especially when safety is at stake. The introduction of this rule was a milestone in Formula One's commitment to driver safety. It represented a significant advance, showing that the sport was willing to evolve not only in terms of speed and technology, but also in protecting those who live on the edge. And this continuous evolution is what keeps Formula One at the top, constantly redefining what it means to be safe and fast. And now that you know all the secrets behind Formula One safety, how will you apply this knowledge to your life? Is it time to review your own safety measures? Maybe it's time to think like a true gearhead, always prepared for the unexpected, whether on the track or in everyday life. Ask yourself, are you really ready to handle an emergency? Have you thought about reviewing your own protocols, whether at home, at work, or even in the car you drive every day? Remember, Formula One teaches us that being prepared is a matter of survival, and this lesson is worth gold in any area of life. So, what are you going to do to ensure you're on the right path? Leave your ideas in the comments. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, don't waste time. Turn on notifications to keep learning all about the